I gained 23 pounds in 11 months whilst being a full-time student. Today I'm going to give you the steps that I follow to gain the weight so that you can gain it too. Starting from step 1, training.
If you're only going to watch one section of this video, that should be this section, because this is the thing that most people get wrong about training.
First and foremost, you've got to have a consistent weight training routine. So figure out how many days per week you can train and also figure out how long you can train for. Once you've got both those things figured out, I recommend setting yourself up with a workout split. Now, as you can probably tell by the title, I cater to a more busy audience. So if you're someone who doesn't have all day to spend in the gym, I've got a free workout program for both males and females that you can grab by clicking the link in the description. You don't have to enter your email. You don't have to enter your phone number. You just literally click the link and it opens up in the workout app, in the Strong app, which is the only reason I recommend the Strong app is because it's completely free to use. I'm not sponsored by them, but I wish I was. It's a program for complete beginners. It has you training 3 times a week and you're training for an hour each session. It's the exact same program that I would put my parents on if they came to me and asked me to train them. So this is the best program that I could create. So I will not talk about exercise selection or anything of that nature in this video since I've already done all the work for you. All you need to do is go in the description, click a link, it'll take you there, start lifting. Now here's the part that we do need to talk about.
Consistency. Now, I'm not going to give you an hour-long motivational speech because that's just not my style, and you know that. I'm a practical guy. So I'm just going to give you this analogy and ask you this question. So imagine if you're working a full-time job. You're working 8 hours, 5 days a week. Now, let's say you just decide, for some reason whatsoever, you just decide to not show up 3 days out of 5. Or even you decide to just skip out on 2 days out of the 5 and you only show up 3 days out of the 5 that you're supposed to show up. How long do you think you're going to keep that job? Not for long, huh? And fitness, it's the exact same way. And it's even more severe with fitness because if you lose a job, you can always get a new one. But I know this sounds cheesy, but this body is the only body that you have. And if you don't take care of it, nobody else will.
Now the good thing with training is that you don't have to train 5 days a week, 8 hours at a time. A program that I've designed is minimalistic and effective, but only if it gets followed. If I give you a program and you don't follow it, and then you come to me and you're like, bro, you give your program super shitty and oh my God, I didn't get any muscle. And you've showed up like 2 days out of 3 or even 1 day out of 3, I don't know what to say to you. And honestly, this is the harsh truth. If you don't have that like basic ass discipline of showing up and going through physical motions, then honestly, I've got to like brutal honesty. I just think that you're on the wrong side of the internet. Go back to eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew because I don't think this video is for you. Report me, unsubscribe, whatever, like dislike the video and fuck off because you're literally on the wrong side of the internet. All you've got to do is show up and do physical motions, bicep curls, tricep extension. It's not that complicated. All you've got to do is be consistent, show up continuously, and follow good form on all the exercises. If you do those 2 things, I promise you, if you are a complete beginner, you're going to pack on literally slabs of meat onto your physique by following that program. Now I'm going to talk about one of the most common problems I see with people who are struggling to gain weight.
Intensity. Now, chances are, if you're watching this video, you are probably not training hard enough. The reason I make that generalization is because I can probably count the amount of people I've seen training legitimately hard on the fingers of both my hands. Most people legitimately do not train hard because they don't know what hard training looks like. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to say that every set that you do, or even most of your sets, should be taken to maximum effort, like balls to the walls failure. But if you're not even breathing hard after doing big compound exercises like the squat and the hip thrust and big, tough compound movements, if you're not even breathing hard, then I'm sorry, but you are not training hard enough.
Bro, talking about intensity is actually one of those things that legitimately gets me pissed. Because everyone from like people in high school to full-grown adults that have full-time jobs, literally everybody gets it wrong. Everybody, and when I say everybody, I mean like I've met maybe 1 or 2 people who understand intensity the way it's supposed to be understood. I'll give you an example of this. So I was in class one time with this blonde girl, and this is one of those blonde girls that is just very vocal, very, very loud, very expressive. Nothing wrong with that. It's just she's one of those people that like you know about them and you know about their lives even if you don't want to. So she was pretty much complaining about, oh my God, I went to the gym. Oh my God, I went to the gym for like 6 months and my butt didn't even get any bigger. And so for some reason, she decided to ask me because I guess I look like I'm someone who's qualified to give advice on exercise. Just going off of what I know, This girl is pretty loud, she's pretty vocal, she complains about literally everything. But never once have I heard her complain about how she's sore from the gym. So I assumed she's not training hard enough. So I asked her if she had any videos of her actually doing a glute workout. And so she pulled up this clip of her doing hip thrusts. So I saw the clip of her doing hip thrusts, and it was immediately clear to me why she didn't grow any muscle in her glutes. First of all, she was doing the exercise with like 50% range of motion. And then once she got done with the exercise, like hip thrusts, by the way, like I've said before in my other videos, hip thrusts are supposed to be a tough, grueling exercise. So she finishes her set of hip thrusts, and then as soon as she's done, she goes, you know, the things that like that thing that old girls do where they like kind of stick their tongue out when they go, So she finishes that like grueling, like supposedly grueling set of hip thrusts, and she looks at the camera, which was like propped up against something on the floor, and she just goes, And I mean, instead of me lecturing her about how like she's training like a wimp, I just pulled out my phone and showed her a clip of me doing hip thrusts. And you know how I do hip thrusts. I take hip thrusts very seriously when I do them. And so I showed her a clip of me doing hip thrusts with like full range of motion. And then as soon as I got done with the exercise, it looked like I was about to die. I was breathing heavy, sweating, just tired. And so she was like, "Well, what's the difference?" The difference, blonde girl that I can't name on YouTube, is that I was training hard and you weren't. You should not be like, if you're doing a tough, grueling exercise like the hip thrusts, you should never be able to just finish the set and go to the camera. It's supposed to be a tough exercise. If you're someone who's not sure about whether they're training hard enough or not, I've made an entire video about how to judge if you're training hard enough or not, and you can go watch it. Step 2, diet.
If you're watching this video, chances are that you probably think that you're a hard gainer. Now, the thing is, I had a friend, we'll just call him Dan for now. I'll send him this video, he'll know who he is. But he always used to complain to me, and he used to be like, "Bro, I'm a hard gainer, I've got fast metabolism, so on and so forth." And I remember at some point in time, I just got frustrated, and I was like, "You know what, bro? I'll train you." And within 3 months of me training him, he went from 119 pounds to currently he's 128 pounds. And he's not fat. It wasn't, okay, was it all muscle that he gained? No. He gained some fat, sure, but most of the weight that he gained was muscle. He's just bigger. He's still lean. He's just bigger and stronger and just overall has a better physique now. And so if you're watching this video, you're probably in the same scenario as my friend Dan, as I'll just call him Dan for now. So chances are, if you're watching this video, you're very similar to my friend Dan. You probably think that you don't have good genetics. You probably think that you're a hard gainer. You probably think that you have a really fast metabolism. Well, I'm here to tell you that you
are a fucking liar. You have not changed the laws of exercise science, and you are not a genetic anomaly who can't gain weight no matter how much they eat. And if you're like a really defensive person right now, then you're probably going, "But I had a big meal yesterday. I've been eating a lot. I just can't gain weight." And you might even be telling the truth, but guess what? It doesn't matter. If you're a skinny guy and you think that you're eating a lot and you can't gain weight, the chances are that you're probably not eating frequently enough, or you're not eating the right foods. Because you could eat loads of lettuce and tomatoes, but you're not going to gain any weight eating that food. You could eat like 5 big bowls of salads 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 6 times a day. You're probably still going to be like sub 1,500 calories, and you're not going to gain any weight. I can go more in depth about how much food you should be eating in terms of calories and what types of food you could be eating. But for now, I'm just going to say eat more than you're eating right now. Try to add dry fruits to your diet, nuts, and milk, Greek yogurt, butter, stuff of that nature, olive oil with your food. All of that's going to be great. The final thing you've got to be mindful of if you want to gain weight is
recovery. Now, when you say that you want to gain weight, I'm going to assume that you want to gain muscle, not fat. And the thing is, your body builds muscle when it repairs itself. You oversimplified, your body breaks muscle down when you train, and then it builds it up when you recover. And the best way to recover, in my opinion, is just sleep. I've looked into like ice baths, massage guns, sauna, all of that. And do all of them have their place? Sure, but nothing can replace sleep. Try to get 8 hours, maybe even more. If you're young and you can sleep more than 8 hours every night, then do it. It's only going to help you. So you're the only one who's going to benefit from it. A little hack that I use, and this is probably the biggest hack that I can give you to get more sleep, is instead of having an alarm to wake up, have an alarm to go to bed. That's what I use. That's the one thing that's helped me sleep so much better.